Hi everyone. Good evening, guys. Good evening, all of you. Hope you're all doing well. How are you all? Right. So we'll be continuing our discussions on this. You can say that steel structures. If you just observe today, and one more class is also required for these connections. You can say, right? The steel structures, right? What is it? You can say that a quick revision will be going for if you just observe. Yes, no? Right. Here, what is it we have discussed up to the yesterday's class? Anyone? Up to yesterday's class, right? What is it we have discussed, everyone? Right? Do you remember all of you? Right. Yeah, Sanjeev, fine, good, very good. So, had your snacks or not? You had your snacks or not? So, all of you, welcome to Unacademy. Let's crack it. So, this is my profile. You can follow me at which, and what is that referral code you have to use, right? And you recommend it to your friends, juniors, and everybody, right? When they are subscribing to the Plus and Iconic courses, Permissible. Okay. So these are all GATE 2024 toppers, right? Those who are secured AIR1 from Unacademy, right? Who are snacks over now. So you can get this 12 months subscription for free if not selected. That is Unacademy assure you will be having. So the 60% off you will be getting, right? This offer is valid up to which one? This is 31st January. Okay. So now 12 month subscription if you are taking that 1 month extra at 11,499. 24 month subscription if you are taking that 1 month extra for this 16,999. And if you are not getting selected, right, what is it you can say? By satisfying these conditions, right? You have to satisfy these conditions. And if you are satisfying these conditions, and if within 1 year if you are not getting selected, at 1 year extra subscription months you will be getting, you can say, right? So on January 18th, these were the subjects started, right? New batch started for this 2026 and this 2027 also. On this January 18th, it was started, you can say, which is observe, right? So UPPSC AE 2024, this non-technical wala, right? Batch was started on January 7th, and the new subject is starting from which one? This is 1st February, you can say, right? These are the new subjects starting on this 1st February, if you just observe, right? Now, so these are all the features of this plus subscription if you just observe, right? So now how many points we have done if you just observe, you can say in this lecture 2, right? The types of this riveted or this bolted connections we have done now. Yes or no? Now this is your third one. 22 points gets over now. Now we will be going for this 23rd point if you just observe. So what is that 23rd point you can say? Here thickness of this cover plate, right? In case of which one you can say? In case of this butt joint, right? This is your cover plate you are having. Yes or no? These are your cover plates you are having or not, right? These are your cover plates, you can say, if you just observe, right? And these are your main plates now. These are your main plates you are having or not, right? This is your main plate and this is also the main plate you are having or not, right? Yes, no? And now here what is that thickness of this cover plate? We have to take it if we just observe 1.25 times the thickness of which one? This is a main plate. For which one, tell me? Whenever it is a single cover butt joint, na? Yes or no? If it is a single cover butt joint, you can say, right? So now that thickness of this cover plate, we have to take it as which one? Whenever it is a double cover butt joint, right? How much we have to take it, tell me? If it is a single cover butt joint, right, like that, if it is a double cover butt joint, right, how much we have to take it, tell me? That is your 5 by 8 times which one? This thickness of this main plate, na? Yes or no? 5 by 8 times this thickness of this main plate. If it is a double cover butt joint, you can say, if you just observe, right? Isn't it? Is it clear now? Yes, no? Right? So that is the thickness of which one? This is a cover plates we have to go for if you just observe, you can say, yes, no? Right. Now here if you just observe, right? Shall we go for this specifications? If you just consider, right, what is the minimum pitch, you can say, if you just observe that pitch, small p is the symbol we are giving for this pitch, na? What is the minimum pitch, you can say? there are 2.5 times that phi, right? What is that shank diameter of this rivet given? You can say there are 2.5 times this phi in case of which one, this rivet, and in case of which one, this bolt. If you just observe, that is your 2.5 times this small d, right? This is for this bolt you are having now, is that no? Right, isn't it? Now if you just observe it, what is that next specification? You can say it is not a d naught, it is a d only, right? Nominal diameter, right? What is this? That small d or this phi, you can say these are the nominal diameters now. These are your nominal diameters, you can say, if you just observe, right? Not the gross diameters, if you just observe, right? So what is that P maximum? If you just observe, that maximum pitch will be equal to how much you have to take it? That is your 16T or this 200 millimeter, right? This is for whichever is we have to take it for what? Whichever is what? Less, na? Yes or no? Whichever is less, for which one? This is a tension members or not? Whenever it is a tension members, we have to go for, if you just observe, right? Now there is one more criteria, right? What is the P maximum? You can say that is your 12T or which one? Tell me. That is your 12T or this 200 millimeter, na? So here also that whichever is less, for which one? It is for this tension member or it is for this compression members, if you just observe. That is for your compression members, na? So no, that is for your compression members, you can say, if you just observe, right? Isn't it? Right? Note this and tell me. I'll move on to the next specification. That maximum pitch only. These are for which one? These main rivets, na? These are for which one? These main rivets only or not, right? These are for this main rivets, you can say. Main rivets in connection, na? These are for this main rivets in connection, right? The rivets which are present in connection. Rivets are these bolts, right? Whatever it is, right? Rivets are these bolts which are present in the connection, right? Note this and tell me. As per IS attended 1984 and as per IS attended 2007, right? Both codes, right? For bolts and rivets, this maximum pitch and this minimum pitch values will be same only. You can see if you just observe, right? Done. Now, so what is the next point? That is your 25th point, na? Right? Now we will be going for this 26th point. If you just observe, what is the 26th point? You can say. So here, that P maximum. What is the P maximum we have to go for? That is your 32T or what? 300 millimeter, right? Which one we have to consider among these two? Whichever is less, right? This is in case of what? This is in case of what? When plates not exposed to weather, right? When plates means connecting members only, no? When plates are exposed to weather or these are not exposed to weather. When plates not exposed to weather, you can say, if you just observe it, whenever they are not exposed to weather, you can have this more gap between them also, there is no issue. Now how much we have to take it? If you just observe, that is your 16T or this 16T or this, which one? This is 300 millimeter. And this is whichever is less, right? When we have to go for, when plates exposed to weather, na? When plates are which one? This exposed to weather, you can say, if you just observe, right? So these specifications are applicable for which one? Tell me. These are for the main rivets or these are for the tack or this stitch rivets? Stitch rivets, na? These are the tack or this stitch rivets, right? Where they are present? In connection they are present, na? Whenever they are present in connection, if you just observe, you can say, is na? Is na? Isn't it? Now there is one more maximum pitch value, right? What is that one more maximum pitch value? If you just observe, suppose if 2-3 members are there, right? What is that? 2 members are there, right? These are your angle members, na? Whenever these are connected throughout the length, right? There will be tacking rivet outside the connection we have to provide just to hold the 2 members together in case of this built up section, na? So now what is that maximum pitch we have to go for? If you just observe that P max should not be greater than which one? This is 600 millimeter for what? Compression members. And it should not be greater than which one? This 1000 millimeter. Na? It should not be greater than this 1000 millimeter for which members? Tell me. That is for this tension members. You can say if you just observe, right? Is not. So now this is for which one? These are also for a tack rivets only. Tack or this is stitch rivets holding the members of a, right, where they are provided, you can say holding members of a built up section, holding the members of this built up section together. They are within the connection or and outside the connection, you can say, and not in connection, and they are not present in this connection, or they are not present in this connection, you can say. If you just observe, you can say, right, isn't it? That is what. Now what is that next point? If you just observe, you can say here what is that minimum end distance? If you just observe that E minimum will be taken equal to how much? 1.5 times this DH, right, diameter of this hole, or that is also taken as which one? This 1.7 times this diameter of this hole, right? When we have to go for this 1.5 times, when edges are which one? Tell me. When edges are machine flame cut, okay? Right, okay, I'll show the diagram, don't worry. So when edges are which one? This is hand cut, okay? When edges are which one? This is hand cut, if you just observe, right? So 27 wala diagram, if you just observe, na, let us say this is the gusset plate you are having, just for an example. This is one angle present, na? This is one more angle present, if you just observe. So these are the main, you can say. Right now, if you just consider it, what is that? If you just observe here, which rivets we are having, right? These are your tack rivets you are having, in between, if they are provided, these are your tack rivets. And here these rivets, right, that tack rivets or this tack bolts, right, they are holding the two members together, na? So it is applicable for these. Okay, understood now? They are outside the connection with the gusset plate, na? Now clear, Sanjeev? What is the diagram for this? Is it clear now? Outside that connection only, na? Clear? Okay. So next I'll be moving on to the next point, right? That is 29th point. Right. So here, what is that maximum edge distance or this end distance, right? E maximum is equal to which one? Tell me. What is that? That is your 12T epsilon. No? What is that epsilon? You can say 12T epsilon or this 40 plus this 4T, right? Whichever is there, you have to consider, right? Whichever is lesser, right? Maximum limit means that whichever is lesser, na? Whichever is lesser, right? Is now. Now, what is the epsilon? If you just observe that epsilon is nothing but your under root 250 divided by which one? This Fy yield strength of that member connected, na? That is yield strength of this member connected. You can say if you just observe, right? Is it? Yes, no? Now, if you just observe it, what is that? You can say here there are different failures will be having, na? Yes, no? What are the different failures of this riveted connection? You can say failures of this riveted or this bolted connection, right? What is it you can say? So now, what is the first and foremost you can say if you just observe? Failure of what? That rivets or bolts na. Next, what is another one you can say? That is your failure of this plate na. Which plate you can say? Failure of this plate in the connection only, no? So we should consider the failure of this plate outside the connection or failure of this plate inside the connection only we have to consider. Tell me. Failure of this plate inside the connection only we have to consider. Now if you just observe. Now what are the different failures of this rivet you can say? That is your shear failure. Is na? Shear failure means that will be cut into pieces. Na? This will be that rivet will be cut into the two pieces or not? Is na? The next one, right? What is there you can say that bearing failure of this rivet or this bolt na? For bolt and rivet same. So what is the bearing failure you can say? If you just observe, right? Whenever I am just showing for the rivet, it is applicable for the bolt also. This kind of this pressing will happen, na? So no, that kind of this pressing will happen, right? Is na? And what is another one you can say if you just observe it in this bearing failure of this plate also, no? For the plate also, right, there is a bearing failure, na? So how it will occur if you just observe it? Whenever there is your rivet hole or this bolt hole, right? When the bolt or this rivet is stronger, it will press the plate, na? Then plate will be subjected to this pressing or this crushing or this warping, right? That bearing failure will occur on it. Isn't it? Isn't it? Now here, what is it you can say? We will be considering which one? This is a tearing failure. Okay. Generally, which failure we will consider? A tearing or this a tension failure we will consider. Okay. Other failures we don't consider it. Tearing or this tension failure means, right? What is it you can see if you just observe? This is what you are having. This is how it will be subjected to this cracking. Na? Yes or no? So that is your tearing or this tension failure. Na? This is how the tension is applied, right? And it will be subjected to this cracking like that. You can see if you just observe, right? Next, what is in that? Tension failure in the bolt you are having now. What is the tension failure in the bolt or this rivet? You can see if you just observe. Whether it is a yielding or it is which one? Tell me. Rupture, na? Or it is a rupture like this, right, under the tension, right? So these are the different failures we are having if you just observe, right? Isn't it? Like that will be happening. Now, so we just observe here, right? What is that we have to consider now? Tell me here. Permissible stresses in this workshop rivets, okay? Or we will write this permissible stresses in what? Workshop rivets. Okay. So these are to be increased by, they will be increased by which one? This is a 10% for what? For this field rivets, na? For this field rivets you can say if you just observe, right? Isn't it? And these are further increased by which one? This is 25% for which one? Tell me. 25% if effect of wind or earthquake is considered if you just observe, right? If effect of what? Wind or earthquake is considered. Effect of this wind or this earthquake is considered, na? Then we have to increase these values by which one? This 25%, right? For field riveting, we have to increase those values by 10% only, right? Yes, na? Note these points and tell me. Then I'll write these values, permissible stresses, in the next slide. What and tell me? This is done. Right now, here if you just observe, what is it? You can say that is type of rivet. Which type of this rivet you can say if you just observe, that is a type of rivet, right? That is your axial tension. Yeah, actually, in case of which one, this field rivet, sorry, decreased, right? Sorry, here it is decreased, right? In case of a field, these are not increased, right? Those are decreased, right? Yeah, I have written by mistake. In case of a field, those are decreased, right? Not increased, you can say. So because if you just observe that strength in which rivets will be higher, field rivets will be higher, or this workshop rivets will be higher. Strength in the shop riveting condition rivets will be higher because their expert people will be available, right? We can do that riveting properly. So field riveting, right? What happens? Tell me. That normal people will be doing, that much expertise people may not be available, right? So that they will be having the lesser strength, right? Lesser strength means it is better we should allow lesser stresses or higher stresses, lesser stresses, right? That is why these are decreased by 10%. Earthquake and wind, do you remember that? Yes, in the yesterday's class, when I was mentioning that this 0.9 reason, what is that? Whenever that so these are vertical loads, na, dead load and this live load are which one? This vertical loads. Earthquake and this wind loads are which one? This lateral loads for the structure. Whenever one is creating stability against the other, right? What happens? Tell me. One will be counteracting the effect of this other, na. Then the net effect will be reduced, na. Net effect will be reduced means even if you are allowing higher stresses also, it will not fail, right? That is why we are allowing the higher stresses also in case of this wind and earthquake lateral load conditions, right? Like that. Is it clear, Sanjeev? No. Is it clear? So that is what we are doing, right? Axial tension, right? What is the symbol we are giving for this axial tension? Tell me. What is the axial symbol we are giving? The symbol, tell me. Now, axial tension. Next, that is shear. And what is it? Bearing. What is the bearing symbol we are giving? You can say if you just observe that. Sigma PF is the symbol we are giving for this bearing, na? That is your tau VF is the symbol we are giving for this shear, na? And axial tension, right? What is the symbol we are giving? What is the axial tension? Tell me. Sigma A, right? Axial tension we are having, right? Sigma AT you can say, right? Axial tension, right? What is the type of rivet you can say? If it is at a power driven, whenever it is at power driven, right? You do you remember that power driven or this hand driven, right? Which one will be having this more strength? Power driven will be having this more strength, or this hand driven will be having this more strength? Obviously that power driven will be having this more strength, na? So here what is that? You can say that is your 100 MPa and this is 100 MPa and this is your which one? This is 300 MPa. Now hand driven, right? What are these values? If you just observe, that is your 80 MPa and this is your 80 MPa and this, right? What is it? You can say that is your 250 MPa, no? Isn't it? No. So here if you just observe this strength of rivet, strength of rivet in which one? Tell me. In this single shear, if you just observe, what is the strength of this rivet in this single shear? You can say that is PS is the symbol we are giving, right? That is equal to that pi by 4 into that d square is that area into that tau VF is the permissible stress, na? And in this double shear, in case of this double shear, right? What is it? It comes to be that PS will be PS will be equal to, right, what is your concept? That is your pi by 4 into the d square into the tau EF into the 2 times it will come na double shear means, is na? And that too in which one, tell me? In this bearing, if we just consider, what is the strength of this rivet in this bearing? If we just observe, that is that what is the symbol we are giving? That PB is the symbol we are giving na. That is your D into T into, what is that you can say? That is your sigma PF you are having, right? Is not like that you are having if you just observe, right? Now tell me, what is that a rivet value if you just consider? Tell me, what is that a rivet value if you just consider? Tell me that a rivet value RV will be equal to, what is it you can say? That is your smaller of what? Smaller of this PS and this PB only, no? Smaller of this PS and this PB only we are considering, right? Now tell me, right, what is that you can say? Number of rivets, right? What is that a number of rivets required to support a connection? Number of rivets required for which purpose, tell me? To support working axial load of how much? What is the working axial load? That is your P. That N will be equal to, what is it you can say? That working axial load P divided by this rivet value will give the number of rivets now. So that is why we are getting the number of rivets, isn't it? Is not? Right? What is it? Tell me. Actually sigma AF we will write, right? Because sigma AT already will be using for which one? This axial tension for this main members, no? So here we will use which one? This is sigma AF we will use. That would be better, right? Axial stress in the fasteners, okay? Sigma AF. So we don't consider this, right? Only that shear and this bearing will come into picture, right? Is not? Note this and tell me. Right? Now, so what is it if you just observe, right? This is your 34. Tensile strength of this plate, right? What is the tensile strength of this plate? What is the tensile strength of this plate? You can see if we just observe the tensile strength of this plate will be which one? PT na. What is the PT? You can say that is nothing but your A net into that sigma AT, right? Do you remember that permissible stress in this axial tension in the plate? Do you remember these values, everyone? In the first class we have mentioned na? Sigma AT, right? What is that? 0.6 Fy for the sigma AT. Permissible stresses in steel. We have mentioned na? Yes or no? That is for the main members, you can say, right? That value only we have to use it here. So what is that? You can say that is your B, width of this plate, minus this N1 number of plates in the section considered, into that diameter of this hole, into, right, what is it you can say? That is into that T thickness into that sigma AT, you can say if you just observe, right? Is it right? Is it not? Right, now what is that if you just observe? Strength of riveted joint, right? What is it you can say? What is the strength of this riveted joint if you just consider? Strength of this riveted joint or this connection PC or this PJ will be equal to, right? What is it you can say? N into that PS or N into which one? This PB, or what is it you can say? That tensile strength of this plate, right? Whichever is what? Lesser, na? So there N1 is nothing but which one? Okay, I'll write that. Here that N is nothing but your number of total rivets, na? That is your number of total rivets in connection, is na? Number of total rivets in which one? This is a connection. Now what is that N1 mentioned na in the above? What is that? This is that a number of total rivets along the section considered. whatever the section you consider it, along this section, how many number of these are there. Now what is that? You can say efficiency of the joint. What is the symbol? Neta is symbol for this efficiency. Now that is your strength of this connection divided by this PSP into that 100, right? What is the PSP? You can say, if you just observe, PSP is nothing but your strength of, right? That PSP is nothing but your strength of what plate? Tell me. Strength of this solid plate. Na? What is the strength of this solid plate? If you just observe that A gross into that sigma 80. Na? What is the A gross? Tell me. That is your simply that width into that thickness, right? Yes, na? Into that sigma 80 you are having, right? Yeah. Isn't it? Where is the NPS? Where is the NPS I have written? Okay, yeah, connecting plate, right? Main plate, right? It is not the gusset plate, right? It is a main plate, right? Main plate, okay? So, N is nothing but your, I have mentioned, number of total rivets in the connection. P into S, right? What is the PS? We know. PS is nothing but your shear strength in the single shear or this double shear for this rivet, na? PB is your strength of this rivet in this bearing, na? Yes or no? Got it? N is nothing but your total number of rivets into that strength of shear strength of this one rivet, or N into that strength of this single rivet in the bearing, you can say. Yes, na? Understood now, Sanjeev? Isn't it? Is it clear? So like that we will be having. So we will be stopping here, and again in the next class after 5th February only we will be having the classes. Up to 5th February you may not be having that YouTube and the YouTube classes you may not be having. Okay, right? Doubt clear? Everything is clear, all of you? Then in that bolted connection strength if we'll see, then only thing is we have to go with the eccentric connections. Is na? That's it. One more class if we'll take, mostly that connections will be completed. Concentric connections will be completed for one more class. Eccentric connections one class. Okay, like that we'll do. Any doubts anyone having? Shall I close the session? I'll be closing the